We are back on MorningLine. Thanks for joining us. Our guest this morning, as we're talking about taxes and stimulus payments, Dr. Friday Burke. A lot of folks with questions and comments right now as we're streaming live on Facebook and here on the Plus. It's good to have you on, and thank you for making yourself so available. We'll probably talk to you more between now and April 17th, or rather May 17th. I'm sorry, when tax day comes, but thank you for joining us. You're awesome. We really appreciate the help. I learn every time she comes on. And let's go next to the phone calls. We've got Ben. Ben, good morning. How can we help you, Ben? Hi, Ben.
Hi,
Hey.
this is Dean. I think you got my name wrong.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. You go ahead. What's your question? I'm sorry about that.
No, that's okay. Thanks for doing this morning.
Sure.
Quick question for my wife. Thinks she won't get a check because she owes student loan debt. And then I have a business question just about what loans or grants are available.
I'm sorry. What was the second question? What loans or what?
I have a small business, basically, just a sole proprietorship, and I was wondering if you knew of what new grants or loans are available.
Okay, I'll see. First of all, with regard to her and her student loans, that's not a factor, is it?
It isn't. They said that we're not going to hold back money for anyone that owes student loans, back taxes, or income, like state income tax, any of those. You should be still getting your stimulus.
Okay, and that may be outside the realm of what we're talking about if in this plan there are new grants or loans available for someone with a small business like his. Now, we do know that there's money set aside for that. I'm just not sure how it's divvied out and what the requirements are.
There is the PPP loans and the EIDL loans. We do a lot of those every single day. And if you're a sole proprietor, I know a lot of you guys didn't think you were available. It is available, but keep in mind, we have to have them in by March 31st. So time is ticking. If you have not applied for PPP1 or PPP2 or an SBA loan, those are a little different, but PPP1 and 2 will expire on March 31st unless they extend it.
Gotcha. All right, let's go next to Marshall. Marshall, good morning. Hi, Marshall.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
I have a question. I have a two-part question. One, I'm currently on unemployment, and they had switched over, and I did my unemployment certification yesterday, and it says in progress. I'm trying to figure out what do that mean, and then I'm trying to figure out, because I didn't receive a stimulus for last time because I owe rearage on my child support. I'm trying to figure out what do I need to do to receive that stimulus for this time.
Again, I think you should receive your stimulus money without a problem. $1,400 should not go back to back child supports. And as far as unemployment, outside my expertise, not too sure with that, if I can help you much on that one. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, the unemployment, that's tough for folks. And, the folks that have been out of work are the ones who especially need this money. I mean, a lot of folks do.
Right.
But, they're the ones, and I hope he can get it. He should. Let's go to Linda. Linda, good morning. Hi, Linda.
Good morning. Just a comment for you guys. Everybody was talking about they haven't received it. You need to check your bank accounts if you are online and all that. But like Thursday, I checked my bank account, didn't have my stimulus or my Social Security. Friday, it did show pending for the 25th. So I've got to wait until the 25th until I get both of those. So if you're online and checking things, that really helps. But it says it's pending to be put into my account. So just thought I'd put that out there.
Thank you for sharing that. Right. It gives her the deadline so she knows when to look, right? That's great.
Right.
It's exactly what you're saying.
News.
Get on there and look. Thank you for sharing that. It's easy enough to do. Trust me, it's intuitive when you go on there. You can figure it out. I've been on there. I think that whole site's kind of interesting. You go back, track through on your past earnings and everything. So let's see. Next up on the horn is David. David, good morning. Hi, David.
How you doing?
Good. How can we help you, Dave?
Excuse me. I'm just trying to find out about my stimulus check.
Okay.
It came, the last one, the $600 one, came to my address. I just moved to Tennessee, and I'm wondering how is it going to come this time.
Okay.
Right. Great question, I think, Nick, because I think that's what's the problem with a lot of people sometimes is that they're getting maybe the old one because they were still at the house, but they've relocated. The IRS will not forward mail. You need to do an 8822 address change form. It's a standalone form, and or you can file it with your tax returns. But you need to get that out there because, again, right now it's basically sitting in a dead letter because they don't know how to reach you until they get an updated address.
If you would recap for folks, you talked about that one form, but the other thing, and since you were on last time, it's still obviously not too late to file your taxes. And there may be people out there that are off the radar of the IRS,
Right.
have never filed in recent years because they don't owe. Maybe they're on a fixed income on Social Security. They don't need to. But you're saying, okay, in those cases, go ahead and file a tax return now. So you get on the radar. And what's the line that they need to make sure they fill in on that again? Line 30?
Line
31?
30. 30. Line 30, it's called the recovery credit, and that would be for each individual that's over the age of 18 on your own or whatever. You'd be $1,200 the first one, $600 the second one, so $1,800. And then if you've moved or whatever, make sure you've got the proper address on there. So when you e-file that form, you would be able to do what you need to do and move forward with it. So that's, really important. And if you've already filed and then you had to relocate, or you realize, we've had a couple people that realized they didn't have the right address on their tax returns for a year or two in some cases because they didn't pay attention to it, I guess. So an 8822 is the number, 8822. It's a standalone form, and that way you can get that submitted to the IRS and start the process of getting your information correct with the IRS.
Yeah, so what you're saying, and in a lot of these cases, folks who have not received their payments, it's simply because the IRS doesn't know how to reach them. Whether they don't have the accurate address or maybe they don't have the proper banking routing number, they just don't know. The money's there, you qualify, but if they don't know how to find you, you're not going to get your money.
Right. And they're not going to come chasing you. They're not going to go and look at every tax return and every form. It's going to be either updated in their system or it's going to sit there until you get it updated.
Yeah. In some cases, that's where you have to be proactive. And for a lot of these folks, I'm just going to say, I know they're sitting there, they've been on SSI or Social Security, they're retired.
Right.
They haven't done anything for several years, and they're kind of like freaked out, like, how am I going to do this, And I understand where they're coming from, but it's easy enough to do. Get someone to help you if you don't have a computer. But the bottom line on this, if you're not proactive, you're not getting your money, and you have only yourself to blame. So you're going to have to do it. If you don't want to, that's fine, but then don't complain about why you didn't get your check. You've got to take these steps, and she's laying it out there for you.
You tell them now.
Well, I know it's frustrating, and they deserve this money.
It is.
But sometimes, like you said, the IRS is not going to track you down and say, hey, here's your money. You have to make sure they know where to find you. It's that simple. And if you don't, well, then you don't get the money. Let's go next to Mary. Mary, good morning. Hi, Mary.
Yes. I haven't filed taxes in like 5 or 6 years.
Sure.
And so how do I go about now I'm drawing Social Security, and they went back 2 years. So what do I do about, because I haven't received none of the stimulus checks, none of them.
So you haven't received any of them, and you're on a fixed income. Now you do get a check. You said your Social Security goes direct deposit?
Yes, sir.
So that's interesting. That obviously they know where she is. They have the routing number. She's getting her Social Security check. Why do you think she has not received a stimulus?
Well, I think there could be one of two reasons. One reason would be, did someone claim her as a dependent? Obviously, that happens from time to time. Second reason is Social Security and IRS are not tied together necessarily. We do know that they're using the Social Security information. I'm not exactly sure how that's cross-referencing. My suggestion to anyone that's like Mary is to go to, unfortunately, AARP and some of them used to have, but because of COVID, not as many free open sites as possible. But I would suggest trying to find a free open site near you and get the tax return e-filed, so that way you're in the system. 6 years, I'm not too sure why. It may, but since she hasn't received any of them, she has to file the 2020 to get the first two. Right. I don't know, it sounded like maybe they backed that she applied and then they finally gave her all of it for like 2 years. maybe it wasn't all coming in at one time. I'm not positive, but make sure no one claimed you as a dependent, and then I would file the tax return.
Yeah, it sounds to me like she would definitely qualify under these guidelines. And so unless you've been claimed by someone as a dependent on some of the priors, now she would still get this current one if she's claimed as a dependent.
Unless they claim. Yes, they would get it though. It would go in their bank account, not to her.
Right.
Sometimes I've had that problem where I've had people say, well, I know my son's claiming, but I've not seen the money, and that's because the son is getting it direct deposited into his bank account because he's claiming her.
That's right. So ma'am, again, to go ahead and what she needs to do, and she hasn't filed in all these years. So you would say get with AARP, maybe ask someone at your church. You can go to the library where there's access to a computer. Have someone help you file. It doesn't cost anything. You go in, there's an electronic e-file in myirs.gov, whatever, or irs.gov, and file it, send it off, and then you're in the system. She's probably saying she can't do it herself. If that's the case, she needs to get someone to help her. A family member, someone with your church, a neighbor, the library, some of those references, folks there can help you. That's the way to go about doing it. All right, let's go next to, I think, Brenda. Hi, Brenda. Are you there, Brenda?
Yes.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
I'm 76 years old. I received my first $1,200, and then I got a $600 stimulus check. Will I be getting another one, and what amount?
Another one for $1,400 this time.
Yeah,
you'll get one for $1,400.
Yeah, you'll get one for $1,400 next. So it's going to be considerably more than $600. So yeah, it should be coming your way if nothing's changed. She got the $600. This next one will be $1,400. So more than double what you got last time. So how about that? That's a nice note to take a break. When we come back, more calls, a few more comments off of Facebook in our final segment with Dr. Friday right after this.